got to like take a lead out of that and put it into something else. It means it makes a system that's incredibly flexible sonically, but it's difficult to play live. You would have to repatch. So Wendy Carlos, who worked with Moog on the development of the first commercially available modular synthesizer, she was she was a he then, and so he was interested in articulation, wanted the instrument to be able to be expressive, like an acoustic instrument would be, and to be respond, and to be able to be expressive, more expressive. And so it's quite difficult with a modular to be that expressive. But so what they did was they built them into things like this, where it's the same modules, but it's called internally self-normalized, which is a big word for it's been patched already on your yard, into a fixed pathway that is more likely to be the most useful way you would patch it if you wanted to play it like an instrument. So the best way to think about synthesizers is to think about it as what they were trying to do in the very beginning, which is like impersonate the human voice. So there are three components to the human voice. There's the ah, that's the oscillator, the vocal cords, the thing that produces the note in the first place. And the second thing is the mouth cavity, which changes the tone. Oh, wah. And then the third thing is the lungs that change the air pressure. So, ah, you get this. So then you need something that would produce a tone, something that would shape the tone, and something that would change the volume of the tone. So you get, first of all, you get this thing, an oscillator. And all an oscillator is doing is, so that's this unit here. And although this looks complex, you only need these 5 modules to make a synthesizer. And all it's doing is wobbling electricity above and below a zero line. And when the electricity goes to positive, it pushes the speaker out. And when it goes to negative, it pulls the speaker in. And so your hearing operates from 20 oscillations a second at the very lowest end to about 20,000 oscillations at the highest end. So that's, when I change the pitch of this oscillator, it's just vibrating it slower or faster, which is pushing the speaker in and out faster or slower. And you'll see that when it goes very low, it almost becomes pulses. And if you went any lower than that, it would become rhythmic, not musical. And that's as it drops below the 20 times a second that your brain perceives as a note. And then it steps into rhythm. Now, an oscillator, as another thing, the shape that you push the speaker in and out at is important. So, this is the zero line, this is the volt plus, volt negative. If I push the voltage up, hold it there for a bit, drop it a bit, hold it a bit, drop it a bit, it makes this square wave, called a square wave. If I raise it slowly and drop it, raise it slowly, drop it, it's called a sawtooth, it makes this sawtooth shape. Or if I do it like this, equally, pushing it equally in and out at the same time, it makes a thing called a sine wave. And that's important because they all sound different, they've got a different tonal quality. So I'll play you, this is a square wave, this is a sawtooth, it's fizzier and brighter, it's usually used for making things like reeds or strings, and then you get a sine wave, which is very mellow and soft, and it's because gradually we have more or less harmonics within this sound. And the harmonics are like when you pluck a string on a guitar, you get the root note, and so the string is like this, and it's vibrating like this, and that's the root note, and then it's vibrating like this, and that's exactly half, and then each division of 5th, 7th, 3rd are vibrating as well within that motion. And so within the string you get the fundamental note, and then you get all these implied harmonics, which you don't really hear as the note, but it changes the timbre of the sound, the quality of the sound. So next we need the mouth cavity, so that's the vocal cords. So we're going to go into what's called a filter. And you could imagine a filter like an EQ, like on an EQ on a hi-fi system. It allows you to take some high frequencies out and then filter those frequencies out. It's called a low pass filter. It's letting the low frequencies and cutting the highs, so I'll show you that. Low pass will have a nice square wave. So that's a filter closing right down so there's no frequencies coming out. The filter has another trick, which is, if you imagine that's all of the frequencies in the sound, and I'm shading the top ones off like this and they're coming down. That's called the cut-off point, as it pulls down like that. If I take that frequency that's at the head of the cut-off and I feed it back into itself, it gets louder there, just like a microphone in a speaker, just like feedback. And you can push that feedback louder, and that's called resonance. And that gives the synthesizer its characteristic sound, which I'll show you now. So this was it without resonance, and this is with resonance. And so if we start to hear synthesizers like space, like when we hear that, or funky Moog bass lines, and then the last thing we need is an amplifier. It's just very simple, makes it louder or quieter. So I'm going to patch it from the oscillator into the filter, and then from the filter into an amplifier. Now, all the amp is just an amplifier. It just turns it up or down. So those are the three fundamental building blocks: oscillator, filter, amplifier. And now you want to be able to turn those knobs. Turn this knob, turn this knob, and turn this knob automatically. So if we want to change the pitch of the oscillator, this is where Bob Moog came into play really, because he was one of the people responsible for introducing something called control voltage. And basically that meant turning that knob by giving it a voltage instead of having to do it yourself. And the same, opening and closing the filter or opening and closing the envelope by sending it a voltage. So the handiest way to send control voltage to an oscillator to get pitch is via a keyboard. And all it is a series of resistors with a voltage going through, and it goes 1 volt here, 2 volts octave up, 3 volts up, 4 volt octaves. Each volt is an octave. Well, that is in Roland world, and probably Moog world, but in Yamaha world and Korg world, that's called volts, octave per hertz volt, and it goes 1 volt, 2 volts, 4 volts, 8 volts. So it doubles each time. And it meant that synthesizers couldn't talk to each other. Different companies had their own standards and they wouldn't talk to each other. So the best way is to send it a control voltage from a keyboard, so we'll do that now. Or perhaps we won't. So it's just sending it different voltages, 1 volt, 2 volts, 3 volts. And then we've got 2 other components for the synthesizer, then we know everything about synthesizers. One is you want to be able to control the amplifier, and we control that with a thing called an envelope. And all an envelope is you press a button and a voltage is sent out to the whatever it arrives at the other end. And you have a standard nowadays called a tap, decay, sustain, release. And that's just a tap is how the sound comes in, whether it goes or whether it goes ah. You have decay is whether it goes onk and stops, or The sustain is just just comes in at a level, and release is out. So you've got this, how it comes in, what it does after it's pressed, what volume it sets at, and how it lets go. So we need an envelope. So when you press a key, look at my dangling bell. when you press a key on a synthesizer, it does 2 things behind the keyboard. One is it sends a voltage, and the other is it sends a thing called a gate. And a gate is just a quick pulse that opens the envelope. and then you send the envelope to the amplifier, so we'll do that. Let's turn this back up again. So we get this gate, and I send this gate out into an envelope. This is my envelope there. I'm going to press it, the light should come on, yes. So it's not doing anything because I haven't patched it in yet. I'm going to patch that envelope voltage out. I'm going to patch it into the voltage controlled amplifier. Now, we ought to be able to send it a series of voltages. So, no attack, lots of release. Let's get rid of the release. Some attack, fades in, lots of release, fades out. There's one thing left. So that's all the components you need for the human voice, but the human voice also has this. La! It's got vibrato, or it's got la! Tremolo. So we use the same thing as the oscillator slows down to become rhythmic. We use a very, very low tuned oscillator, which is now making a waveform that's lower than 20 times a second. And that will shape vibrato. So we'll patch that in from a thing called a low frequency oscillator. We could do it with a normal oscillator, just tuned down. And so I've got a handy LFO here. It's making a sine wave shape, which we know is this triangular thing. I'm going to patch it into the oscillator. We'll get vibrato. If we patch it the same thing into the filter instead, we get kind of wah. Or we can patch it into the amplifier and get tremolo. And that is everything you need to know to understand synthesizers.